it.
It's horrible. I don't know if it's really
Do you whistle?
Sorry, so still the one impressive thing that I can do at all. Yeah, thanks very much for coming tonight. I know that it was difficult for a lot of people to get here, so I really appreciate you coming along and braving the weather as well. If you haven't been before, I'm Angie. I'm the organiser of Ladies of London. Some new faces, so hello, you're very welcome. Old faces, please make everyone feel welcome, chat to them, bring them into the gang. Sorry, we're also running a wee bit late tonight, but yeah, stick around, have pizza. So we're going to start off with Soli, who is also our Mozilla host for the evening, so like a double awesome for her presenting as well. But one of the things that she does is just build crazy awesome shit sometimes, and I don't know why she does so, but like and she works in a lot of projects with lots of other people as well, I guess.
Crazy people as well.
Crazy people as well. So yeah, she's just going to show you something that she did recently that was really, really fun. Now, if you ever want to come up and do this at the start of a meetup, you're very welcome. Also, if you want to practice out your speaking, stretch your speaking muscles, I don't know, build your speaking muscles, this is a great place to start. If you're wanting to practice a conference talk or anything, we've had a few people who've done that and gone on to do some really sweet conference talks. So anyway, I'm rambling, that's what I do. Yeah, so enjoy the rest of your evening. Any questions, please come and talk to me. And without further ado,
Okay. Can you hear me okay? Am I close enough to the microphone? Because all the other microphones have run out of the batteries, as usual. No one turns them off. Okay, so I'm going to talk to you about this thing that we made. I'm going to start by showing you what we made, so it's going to be easy for you to grasp what I'm talking about. Oh, so this is the actual thing we actually ended producing. It's like a chat, but you can capture your face when you say hi. It's out of the camera. So it will just send this hey thing, okay? So this is all being done in the browser, all the GIF capturing and everything. So that's what we did. Where are we? Okay. So what I want to talk about is not about the technical things, but about the way that something that was just for fun ended up being something huge, really huge. So first of all, I'm Soledad Perez. Everyone calls me Sole. You don't really need to try to do the whole Spanish name thing. I work here in Mozilla since May, so I haven't even been a year here. You can find me at Supersol on Twitter. If you use IRC, which I don't know if people still do, I am mostly there all the time. So this is a bit of backstory. In June 2013, I was building this camera app where you could take retro-looking pictures with your webcam. I mean, the point of all of this is how do we push the browser to do fancy stuff without going to native apps. So I did this thing, and this is all rendered in the browser. I did this thing a little bit while I was waiting for you to come. So I had done this thing, and I had built some parts like the GIF encoder, the webcam capturing thing. So we had those little libraries that were totally independent one from the other. So at the same time, my workmate, she's Jennifer, and she's crazy. Like she's not a computer engineer. She's a philosopher, which kind of gives room for crazy ideas. So he made up this thing. Like this was when Yahoo bought Tumblr, and she was like, I don't want to be under Yahoo's properties. I'm just going to make my own Tumblr. And she made this thing, and it's like a multi-user blog. So each of us has we could log in here, and we just were posting stupid GIFs. Like this was what we did. And the thing is, this was federated, so this thing that says subscriptions, this was pulled up from another blog that she had, and this is like her photography blog, her cuts, like what every good blog should have, right? So that's something that we were doing, and we mostly posted funny GIFs, as you could see. But one day we discovered this thing called Face2GIF, where you could post your faces. So we started taking captures of ourselves. I mean, she is Jen, and the other guy, he's John. They are both in the Toronto office. And then in July 2013, she was talking to this thing called LEVELDB, which is some weird thing where you have a database, but it's about streams. So you can, I still don't quite understand the whole thing, but It's like you've got data and you could have several pointers of streams and you could be reading out the whole thing like forwards, backwards. It's a very different kind of database, and she was super hooked to that. She was like the evangelizer. She was like, so with this stream, we could make this kind of chat app where you've got this stream of messages and you could be connecting and going backwards and forwards. It was very philosophical. So I was like, yeah, sure. So she was like, yeah, I'm going to make a chat app with this thing. I was like, whatever, do it. And she was like, so you should have to log in with Persona. I don't know you have about Persona. This Mozilla thing for logging in websites without providing them your password or anything. So you could log in with that. And then you had to add your friends. So you had to know what email address their friend was using. And it was kind of, I mean, it was fun because we knew each other, but it wasn't easy to discover new people with that. And then you know that you have avatars, so it will be showing your image with that. So she was like, yeah, I'm going to do this thing. So she did this thing in 2 hours or something like that. And we were testing that thing. Like, well, it's fun, but we missed the gifts. It was like, it's not moving. And then we were like, what if you capture your face when you send a message? Like, is your LOL really an LOL? Is that for reals? Like, are you like LOL? It's like a... So we thought, well, take that module and then your code, and then we do something. So we use the gum helper. It's get user media, but gum helper sounds funny, like for the gums. And I made I mean, those are the libraries that we extracted from the R2 Camera app. And this is base-existing for encode, so it's like a string, and it goes into the database, and everything goes there. This is the first thing I made. This was like, yeah, I got this thing working, and that's me, like in my house, like, yay! That's a little capture I made to, hey Jen, this is working, I got that. And I don't know why I recorded that, that was super exciting. So the thing is that it was ephemeral. We're not saving this forever. This just goes away. After 10 minutes or something, it just disappears. So you can make silly faces and not be worried that it's going to be saved forever, like in your Facebook stream or something. And the things that they look, so people were started to get creative and make like dance and movements and all sort of stuff. But at some point we removed things because it wasn't fun enough. So the way to make things funny was to remove stuff. So we said no logging. So you don't need to log in. It was like totally open for everyone. And not adding friends. Like everything was going to be just a channel. So it was like a public square where you just show up and spoke to whoever was there. But it was still a secret. So we kind of had this kind of little secret room where all the Mozilla people were connecting to each other because there was people in Florida, people in Toronto, and we missed each other. So we were like saying hi to everyone in this thing. And then she got invited to this thing called Real Time Conference, which is in Portland, and that was when it was like crazy, because I'm going to try and show you. She showed the thing, and then I'm going to remove this thing because the Flash player crashes if you say the time to start. So she showed the thing, and it started scrolling like crazy. Just wait a person. Okay, that's when. So it was like, oh, Jesus. So she showed the thing here, and that's me with long hair and glasses. So she showed this thing here, and then it just got into Hacker News, like JavaScript heavyweights started frequent in the channel, like the creator of jQuery was like hanging out there, like, as one does, and I was like, what? That person is, because you can't really recognize them from the webcam, from the user images you got from them. And then people started philosophizing. I mean, there's even a page in Wikipedia for this thing now. I'm like, Jesus. And then suddenly a community happened. That's something that we never expected to happen. So the thing is that because it was anonymous, you didn't know who was each person. So people started to come up with this bro thing. Like if you were, for example, me right now, I would be the Mozilla bro because I'm like in this Mozilla space. Or I could be the white shirt bro. And it didn't matter if it was a lady or man or a gentleman or even a child. It was something bro. So there's still this kind of the bros. Hey bros, you enter there and you just say that, and it's like kind of a strange language that the community developed, and even all memes happened. Like excuse it, corpse. I'm going to show you something that happened today. Like people try to capture half of the face, and somebody tries to copy the other. There was something happened today as I was writing this thing. I captured the thing. What is this? Okay, see this thing? So people were completing each other. Okay. And then they also did this dance movements where everybody would say like start dancing, and everyone would try to improve what the previous person would be doing. And then the whoa mom, like if you say whoa and then you type the next person types mom, it looks like a mirror. It's sort of funny and silly at the same time, but it's a very good way of spending time. And then they have someone landed yet, like when because there's this kind of community, people care for each other. So if you say I'm going to fly somewhere, people will start like tagging posts like has John landed yet or has Jen landed yet, and just checking if the person has given any signals like are they alive, are they back to the airport. But they're serious business as well. Like we prevented a suicide. That was like holy shit. Like somebody was like, oh, shit, my friend is like. So somehow that happened. It's really like we created this community out of nothing, and it's huge things. And then the other thing that's quite interesting is that because you show your face, it's not like for example 4chan where everyone's mean to each other because we are all often there. There's women's faces there. People are not too mean. It's like, okay, I see that the creator of this thing is a woman, so I'm not going to be an asshole here. So it's good because you can go there and discuss things and not be intimidated and just ask questions even if you don't know. I mean, there's 14 years old people asking questions about programming. People who've never programmed are there asking like, what does this thing mean? And we are explaining things, and it's like kind of welcoming in a weird way. And then the other good thing is that we have found bugs in browsers thanks to this thing. So we are improving browsers because we find things that don't work because we're pushing things to the limit. Also, all the libraries we're using, we have been improving and getting the code better, submitting part requests. So it's been like a force of good things. But there's more. We have started having this kind of meme where you open conferences with showing this thing. Like this is Angelina Fabro opening this thing in Brighton. Um, that's me opening the same thing, but in Vancouver. So it's kind of when you start the conference, you just show this thing to distract people, kind of relax the mood, so that people are like ha 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 ha, and then just well, this was a bit crazy because people started posting messages at me, and I was super distracted. I had to close the tab. I couldn't really pay attention. Whatever, you can see that later. And then people started meeting in real places. So we call it meetups. So apparently this meet space thing is the opposite of the cyberspace. So that's the whole reason behind this thing. But then it's like, let's make a meet space meeting or meetup. So it's so very meta. And then the funniest thing ever. At some point, this site was featured in some French website for teenagers. And then it was full of French teenagers and women. And they were speaking French. And you could see like the usual geeks trying to speak French with them. And they were all in the Pacific. And they were like, how does using Google Translate to speak to them? And they were like making like duck faces and everything. And it was so cute and so funny. But we had to do a channel for them because it was impossible to keep a conversation there. So they created this thing. And you have to accept this thing the first time you enter. But see, they are there. They are all the time there. It's super, super frequent. I think they got like 9,000 visits in one day or something. See, they are doing the fashion thing. Is it like a donut? Wow. So that was that. And then, and then Jen created the Me Spaces TV, which is like a fork on this thing. So I don't know what I'm doing here. So you can ask her and she would make me space for TV for you. So that's me. I'm just broadcasting and it's capturing every 60 seconds so people can come and see what you're doing. Hey guys. So imagine you've got a cooking channel or something. You could be recording your steps. Like now I'm frying the egg, now I'm stirring this thing. And people can leave comments there. So this is kind of a fork of the other idea. And what else? Yeah, we were wondering how did we? I mean, this was just this funny, stupid thing that we thought of in Toronto when we were bored of the the things we were doing, like how this. We thought that this is because it was just for fun. We were not trying to make money with this thing. We just wanted to have fun and communicate with our friends. And we are obviously very grateful to the hosting sponsor, Digital Ocean. They are good. They are awesome. But the other thing that's interesting, I think, is that it is anonymous. You are not requiring people to give all their details to you before you can say hi or anything. You just need to say hi and just grab access and get access to the camera. Or like good things that you could be whatever you feel like being today. There's people who show up like dressed very smartly one day, the next day they are very formal, and there's no need to like keep your facade or pretend to be someone who you are not. It's not like in Facebook where you have to be always merry and good and everything has to be nice. Like you can be like miserable one day and maybe everybody will be trying to cheer you up. Like I was being delayed in an airport one day and I was like, I feel like shit, I feel like smoking ever, and they were like, oh wow, come on, be good. Like so it's like this nice community that is encouraging. And another thing that I think is important is that it's always been open source. Like if you wanted to improve something, you could just look at the source and try to improve it. Because it was very well, we had 40 contributors, like 40 contributors, and it also had like a very clear set of APIs, and the code is very simple. We're not using any framework. We're trying to keep it as simple as possible, so it's very easy for someone who's not an expert to pick up what's going on and try to improve the thing. And people started making apps, like native apps for iOS and even a text version, so you can even be typing from the terminal. And what's in the future? Maybe a meetup in London, that would be cool. Or I don't know, I have no idea, sincerely. So my conclusion is have fun toy projects. I just want to encourage you to have fun and make funny things. And be modular, because that way if something doesn't quite work, you can always take up something out from your fun toy project. And don't plan everything, just be open for whatever happens, because we never plan these things. So just have fun and enjoy. And that's it. If you have any questions, just shoot. Oh, thank you. Ask me something. Right. Yeah. So at some point, people started hacking the system and posting gifs of porn. As I actually call it. It's a measure of success. We call it time to penis. If you get penises, you're successful. So what we did is implement a mute button. So the way it works is, I think I didn't do that part, but at the beginning they try to block certain users, but then they will notice that they have been mute or blocked or ignored or whatever, and they would try to clean the cache in the browser and try to log in again. So what they did instead is you have a mute button in every, I can show you probably. You see this mute thing? If I don't like that person, I can mute him. And if people enough mute that person, he's speaking to no one because no one's listening to that person. So it's a kind of like, maybe I don't like that person, but maybe someone is enjoying these kind of jokes. So it's kind of like I don't know how to describe it. It's like concealed banning. Yeah, I'm not sure if that's the way it works, but if enough people mute someone, it gets banned. I'm not too sure because I didn't do that part. I'm just doing the animated GIF and the camera things. That's a good thing. Like if I want to change something, I just go to my site, my files, I change things there, and I'm pretty sure I'm not touching anything else, which is really good. So yeah. Also, something else that happened was that Jen was all the time there. So if someone started to do stupid things, she would start shouting at them, but shouting, like stop being an asshole, basically. And somehow they kind of took her seriously. So she's like very imposing. I'm sad that she's not here right now because she's visiting her accountant. I think that's more urgent than speaking to us now. But she could be mean to us now. Yeah. Any questions? Or okay. I think I can stop recording.